Hello. Welcome. Oh, I'll just move my camera a bit. Sorry, I forgot to do a camera test this week before I actually started going. My plants are in weird places. Anyway, hello. Welcome to this week's quiz. This is quiz number 5 of however many I actually end up doing. It's been a bit of a weird day for a lot of people, I think, at least here in the UK. If you're watching from abroad, it's definitely been a weird day here in the UK. I hope it's been a less weird day for you. If you're watching from the UK, hope you've been okay. And hopefully this provides you with a little distraction. Hopefully it will provide me with a little distraction as well. So let's get started. I should announce who won last week's quiz. Quiz number 4. It was won by, with 29 points out of 40, Kinetic Retrograde Motion. Well done. Hopefully, this week's quiz is a little bit harder in the first round. Gets a bit easier later on, I think. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. I've got a picture round this week as well, excitingly, so which took an age to put together, so I probably won't do one of those very often. But anyway, so round 1, as ever, is a warm-up round, just 10 questions to get us going. As ever, if you want to type your answers, it's probably easier if you're going to submit, because you can copy and paste them straight into the Google form on my website. If you're watching after the end of midnight tomorrow, which is the 12th of May 2020, then do what you like. It's too late to submit your answers anyway. So here we go, round 1. Question 1, and my laptop is in a bad position, so apologies for the slight movement we're about to have. There we go. Should have tested that, but anyway. Question 1. Who was the lead artist credited on the 2017 song I'm the One, featuring Justin Bieber, Quavo, Chance the Rapper, and Lil Wayne? Me in a British and slightly posher accent than my background would suggest. Doesn't sound right reading out a lot of these, but anyway. Who was the lead accent credited on the 2017 song I'm the One, featuring Justin Bieber, Quavo, Chance the Rapper, and Lil Wayne? I believe I have only listened to one of these people's songs. You can probably guess which one of them it is if you know me at all. Question 2 then. By what name were Ant and Dec credited on their single Let's Get Ready to Rumble? By what name were Ant and Dec credited on their single Let's Get Ready to Rumble? The H in Rumble is not a typo there. That is exactly how the song title is spelled. I think there was some trademark issue. This was part of Ant and Dec's ascent to fame. Water again in the glass this week, although the fact that I just slurred my words when I was saying that really suggests otherwise, but no, still water. In fact, still water. Alright, question 3. Which professional dancer on the show Strictly Come Dancing has been partnered with Claudia Fragapane, Molly King, Lauren Steadman, and Saffron Barker? I think it might be Claudia, actually. I watched the show, I should know this, but anyway. Which professional dancer on the show... No, it's Claudia. Yeah. Which professional dancer on the show Strictly Come Dancing has been partnered with Claudia Fragapane, Molly King, Lauren Steadman, and Saffron Barker? Saffron Barker, the influencer there. Always wanted to be an influencer. It sounds influential. Maybe this YouTube channel is my way to it. Who knows? As ever, if you have any questions as I'm going along, you should put them in the chat, which, if you're watching on YouTube, is there, I think. I just waved hands in a slightly weird way, but yeah, it's that way. There we go. over to the right as you're looking at the screen. If you're on desktop or mobile, you might not see it there, but there might be some way of getting to it. I don't know. But yeah, feel free to ask questions, send me any sorts of weird comments you might have, any at all. It makes the whole thing a lot more fun for me. If you're watching this on repeat, as it were, then do leave a comment below. I do try and reply to them. Question 4. What is the nickname of the character who in Marvel... what is the nickname of the character in Marvel Comics introduced in The Amazing Spider-Man 25? Woe calls Peter Parker by the nickname Tiger. I swear I got rid of that typo. What is the nickname of the character in Marvel Comics introduced in The Amazing Spider-Man number 25 who calls Peter Parker by the nickname Tiger? It isn't much of a nickname. It's pretty close to her original name, but you want a consistent answer. I swear I got rid of that. I swear I got rid of that before I pasted it. Oh well. Peter Parker there is, of course, spoiler alert, Spider-Man. Question 5. Which main character in the Disney cartoon Recess wears a red baseball cap backwards? Which main character in the Disney cartoon Recess wears a red baseball cap backwards? Actually watched some Recess recently on Disney+. It's weird going back to something that it's weird how much I remember, given that I haven't watched this in, well over a decade. They stopped repeating it on the Disney Channel eventually. Couldn't even go back and nostalgically watch it. Now I can. Question 6. Who, as of 2020, has directed the second largest number of Star Wars feature films after George Lucas? Who, as of 2020, has directed the second largest number of Star Wars feature films after George Lucas? I have not yet watched these on Disney+. I've seen a weird sequence of Star Wars films. 4, 5, 6, 9, and Rogue One, which makes very little sense. Question 7. Which radio presenter who broadcast from midnight to 3 a.m. on weekdays on BBC Radio 2 formerly hosted the National Lottery draws? Which radio presenter who broadcast from midnight to 3 a.m. on weekdays on BBC Radio 2 formerly hosted the National Lottery draws? Good luck with this one, unless you're a late night radio listener. I think this person has covered a few daytime slots, maybe. Yeah. Good luck. Let's move on swiftly from that. Question 8. Which model of Jaguar car, originally released in 1968 and in production until 2019, was the company car of Judi Dench's character M in the film Skyfall? Which model of Jaguar car, originally released in 1968 and in production until 2019, was the company car of Judi Dench's character M in the film Skyfall? The only Bond film I've seen in the cinema there. I realise that my asides in this round are just telling you how much popular culture I haven't seen. Yes, in response to the chat there, I am evil. Or at least that question was. Question 7. Question 7. Here's question 9. What initials are shared by the two daughters of Caitlyn and Kris, the parents featured in the show Keeping Up with the Kardashians? What initials are shared by the two daughters of Caitlyn and Kris, the parents featured in the show Keeping Up with the Kardashians? So, to be clear here, both of those people, I think, have children with other people, but there are only two people whose parents were Caitlin and Chris, and they have the same initials. And finally, question number 10. What shortened name is used for a sandwich that, according to a survey commissioned by the J.M. Smucker Company in 2003, is eaten 1,500 times by the average American before the end of high school? What shortened name is used for a sandwich that, according to a survey commissioned by the J.M. Smucker Company in 2003, is eaten 1,500 times by the average American before the end of high school? All right. And that was round 1. Round 2 is the picture round. A few people asked me for this. I said they're a little bit hard to make because of the processing involved. Making the slides involves copying and pasting text normally, which is easy. Making the images work is a little harder, and finding them is a little harder. So just as a note, all of these images come from a website called Pixabay. It's a great website that aren't paying me to say this, but that provide free stock photos. I'd really recommend it if you ever need them for anything, because it means that you don't have to worry about getting copyright clearance for the images. They do ask you, if you can, to give a shout out to the people who made the images, so there's credit on each of these slides, and in the description as well. There is a link to each of their profile pages. I wouldn't recommend clicking because right now, I would certainly recommend clicking. I would recommend clicking after the quiz because it might give away some of the answers. On that note, also, I won't appear in vision on this round, so you can see the pictures more clearly. So I'll see you again in round 3. But for now, here is round 2. I didn't actually explain what the round was. It says it on the screen, but I would like you to tell me in which city would you find each of these bridges. I don't need the name of the bridge, I just need the name of the city. There is a bit of a Europe bias, I will acknowledge, in this round. But there's a few from around the world. So here we go. Question 1. This image by someone called David Mark. So in which city would you find this dirty old river? Moving on. Question 2. Have a look at this one. In which city would you find this bridge? It's changed a little bit in recent years. There's a feature of the bridge that's not there anymore. This image by someone called Merjin, if I'm pronouncing that right. How about this one then? Question number 3. In which city would you find this bridge? This is just a great picture, actually. I love the photography on this one by the same David Mark that did question number 1's picture. All right, question 4. This one by someone who I think it will be Joe Wigayo. I assume they're Dutch, but apologies if that's wrong. This is question 4. This was a vertically orientated picture that I've cropped quite heavily for no reason other than it makes it fit on a YouTube video aspect ratio. So yeah, where would you find this bridge? Question 5. Where would you find this bridge? Remember, I only want the city. I don't need to know what the bridge is called. All of these are in relatively well-defined city areas. I forgot to say who'd taken the previous one. That was by Kanta Komazawa. Question 6. Sorry for the flipping back and forth there. Question 6 by Pixeline, or Pixeline. Yes, evil, I see. I did say you only need to give the name of the city. You don't need the bridge. If you need the bridge name, that would be truly evil, but no. This bridge, rather impressive. Fit for an emperor, perhaps. Where would you find this one? Perhaps I was overstating it. It's not... Oh. May just be fit for a king, not for an emperor. Oh, no, definitely fit for an emperor. Right, anyway, question number 7 by Stock Snap, this picture. Another vertical one that I've cropped. And one where you can probably get a decent idea if you can read the text there of where this might be. Under some reconstruction work at the time this picture was taken, obviously. One thing is that you're a little bit limited if you go on a free stock photo site of exactly which photos are there. It taunts you with all the ones that you have to pay for. But no, it's still a very good picture. Hugely tall building there. Well, not really, but it's not like the Empire State Building or anything, but taller than you expect. Question 8. Another extreme close-up here for this one. In which city would you find this bridge? This is a bascule bridge, like Tower Bridge in London, one where the you can't see me, I'm making the hand motion, but yeah, one where the two sides arch up like a seesaw. I think you know a bascule bridge only has one side actually, but the point is it swings upwards. The flags might give you a bit of a clue on this one, maybe. I don't know. Right, how about question number 9 then? Where would you find this bridge? Remember, it's still in a city, no matter what it may look like. Again, I forgot to give credit for the last image. That was by Charlotte XXX, I think, which I think are kisses. And this one's by Engen Akyut, again from Pixabay. Yeah, question number 9. Where might you find this bridge? In which city? And finally, question 10. Where might you find this bridge? This is possibly the most obscure of all of the bridges. It's by 123web, also on Pixabay. So yeah, where might you find this? It's going over a train station, I think, there. So that's the last question in round 2. Which means we're back to conventional word-based questions for the rest of the quiz, gives me a bit more to do. So let's go on to round 3. So last week we had an alphabetically first round, and this week we're going to be alphabetically last. So there are going to be 10 different categories, but it's the same rules. I'd like you to tell me which thing in these categories comes last in the alphabet. So as last week, if anything starts with a number, then I'm interested in where that number is placed in the alphabet when you write it out in words. Again, I think that's only relevant for one of the categories. I'll point it out. But yes, I just want you to know which one, when you sort them, comes last in the alphabet. So let's start with question number 1. I'm back on screen again. Hello. Which country, and by country we mean member of the United Nations in its own right, is the last country alphabetically in Africa? Which country is the last alphabetically in Africa? And here is question number 2, which is the last state of the United States alphabetically. There are 50 of those. Which one of the 50 comes last in the alphabet? Give us a second to think about that one. Question 3 then. So this is the one where numbers come in. Which album of the year at the Grammys comes last alphabetically? So it's been being awarded since the late 50s, I think. I want to know which winner of album of the year comes last alphabetically. Now, Adele has won this quite a few times for her albums that are all named after ages that are significant to her. So again, those are sorted by so 21 is sorted under T and so on. I think it's only possibly 1989 by Taylor Swift as one album of the year as well. Check that one. Yes, it did. So the albums that we're excluding here are, well, not excluding, but sorting under where they come numerically are 21 and 25, but by Adele, 24K Magic by Bruno Mars, 1989 by Taylor Swift, and 52nd Street, which is one of Billy Joel's albums from 1978. All of those sorted under the first letter of those numbers. And as you can presumably guess from the fact that I just recited them all, not last alphabetically. Question number 4 then. 20th century Prime Minister of the United Kingdom by surname. So here we mean anyone who served within the 20th century, and we're counting the 20th century as being years that start with 19, I know there is an argument that the 20th century actually started in 1901, but no. I'm going by common usage and convenient usage. Yes, so anyone who served at any point in that century. Who is last by surname? I consider doing this of all prime ministers, but it gets a bit complicated because you firstly got to decide whether you're starting with Walpole and whether you are starting when the United Kingdom came into existence as opposed to Great Britain, and it just all gets messy. And then there's people like, do you sort like Wellesley, Duke Wellington under, well, it doesn't make much difference, but do you sort him under Wellesley or Wellington? It was just easier to stick with the 20th century there. Question 5. So now I want you to think about the 2002 BBC list. Oh dear, you're not going to get this one. The person on the 2002 BBC list of 100 Greatest Britons. I believe this was won by Winston Churchill. But I want to know which surname on that list, or who sorted by surname on the list of 100 Greatest Britons, comes last alphabetically. Bit of a strange list, this one. Sort of an odd mix of people. So in the top 10 you had people like Churchill and engineers, you had Brunel, you had Shakespeare, you had John Lennon, and you had Princess Diana, who had, of course, died relatively recently when this survey was done. Question number 6 then. Which book of the King James Bible comes last alphabetically? Taking conventional names here, so and sort of ignoring any, I don't think it makes any difference, but ignoring any numbers at the beginning, so like I'll sort, examples aren't coming to mind, but yeah, if it's like the first book of so-and-so or the first epistle of, ignore that, just sort of under the next. Again, I don't think that makes any difference, but yes. So for instance, the first book of Samuel, I will sort, which is usually abbreviated to 1 Samuel, just sort that under Samuel. It really doesn't make any difference. Question 7 then. Which space on the standard London Monopoly board, so any of the 40 spaces, 41 I suppose, comes last alphabetically? These were all streets that were selected, well, not all of course, but the streets were selected by a man dispatched from Waddington's in Leeds, who were the producers of it, sent down to London for the day on a research trip. There's speculation, I think, that the reason the stations are all northern ones is because they're the ones he would have been most likely to encounter. Well, northern and eastern. Or northern and eastern, as you would say. I'm not sure which question the Shorjan was in response to, but because I'd clicked away from the screen at that point, but Yeah, it's a fair comment, whichever question it was. Question 8. So which city served by British Airways? Well, I don't think any of them are at the moment, but which city that is normally served by British Airways was served by British Airways immediately prior to travel restrictions coming in this year, comes last alphabetically. In response to all of them, apparently, the short John was, yeah, fair, fair, fair. Round 4 is easier, I promise. I know I say that every week, but this time it's definitely true. Question 9. So, which team in the group stage of the suspended 2019-20 Champions League competition, so that's the one that is currently in progress. So, at the group stage, there were however many teams there were, 24, I think. Which one comes last alphabetically? If a team name starts with FC or the local translation of FC, ignore that. Just the name of the team that comes afterwards. So, for example, they weren't in the Champions League, but AFC Wimbledon will be sorted on W. But MK Dons would be under M. So a question on question 8, does it mean which city globally? Yes, which city served by British Airways in its global network comes last alphabetically, not just which UK city. There is a smaller group of places than you might think. And finally, question 10. Which letter in the Greek alphabet, when spelt out in English, comes last alphabetically? In the English alphabet. The last letter in the Greek alphabet famously being omega. But no, not what we want here. If there are any Greek viewers here, I apologise. And that concludes round 3, the typically horrible round. Round 4 is a theme round, and this week the theme is going to be Europe. Reason for that being that on Friday, of course, we had the bank holiday to mark 75th anniversary of VE Day. The following day was Europe Day, so it felt like a good theme. If you ever have any ideas for themes, please feel free to drop me a line. My email address is on my website, which is www.alexquiz.fun, and that'll be up on the screen at the end. So here is question 1. So as I said, the 75th anniversary of Victory in Europe Day, or VE Day, was commemorated on Friday. Which Allied leader was celebrating his 61st birthday on VE Day? The 75th anniversary of Victory in Europe Day, or VE Day, was commemorated on Friday. Which Allied leader was celebrating his 61st birthday on VE Day? I'd like his name, not just the office which he held. Alright, time for question number 2. So, as I said, the European Union celebrates Europe Day on the 9th of May each year. marking a speech given by Robert Schuman, I suppose it will be, of France in 1950 that led to the signing into existence of which organisation less than a year later. The European Union celebrates Europe Day on the 9th of May, each year, making... I'm going to start this question again. The European Union celebrates Europe Day on the 9th of May each year, marking a speech given by Robert Schuman of France in 1950 that led to the signing into existence of which organisation less than a year later? I want the name that the organisation had when it was founded, not any subsequent names it might have held or things it became. Question 3 then. In which city is the 47-member Council of Europe headquartered? In which city is the 47-member Council of Europe headquartered? So this is an organisation that is larger, much larger than the European Union, though every member of the European Union is also in the Council of Europe. We're still in it. Russia is in it. Lots of countries that are very much not in the European Union are in it. And it's also responsible for the European Court of Human Rights, as opposed to the European Court of Justice, which is in the European Union. I did a debate on the EU once and learnt way too much about structures of European organisations. The fact that there's a Council of Europe, a European Council, and a Council of the European Union was a confusing thing to get my head around. But yes, in which city is the 47-member Council of Europe headquartered? Question number 4. Two mountain ranges form part of the generally accepted boundary between Europe and Asia. One is the Caucasus Mountains. What is the other? Two mountain ranges form part of the generally accepted boundary between Europe and Asia. One is the Caucasus Mountains. What is the other? Yes, Europe and Asia are somehow the least sensibly defined continents. All the others are either distinct landmasses or landmasses broken at sensible points. Narrow isthmuses. Isthmi? Anyway. But Europe and Asia is just this huge long boundary that doesn't really make much sense other than historical reasons for deciding that those were separate. Question number 5. Europa, the goddess after whom the continent of Europe is named, was in Greek mythology said to have been abducted by Zeus in the form of what animal? Europa, the goddess after whom the continent of Europe is named, was in Greek mythology said to have been abducted by Zeus in the form of what animal? So to be clear, this is Zeus was in the form of an animal, not Europa. Question number 6. Europa is also the name of a moon. Of which planet of the solar system? It is the smallest of the 4 so-called Galilean moons. Europa is also the name of a moon of which planet of the solar system? It is the smallest of the 4 so-called Galilean moons. Hopefully this one is at least, you can have a guess at it. Pluto is, for these purposes, not a planet. It makes no difference because it also doesn't have a moon called Europa. But question 7. What was the only UK #1 single for the Swedish band Europe? What was the only UK #1 single for the Swedish band Europe? Okay, there are 3 questions to go. Question 8. The Europe is a type of what kind of boat? So a generic name for a type of boat we're looking for here. It was designed by Alois Roulon in 1960, I think is how you pronounce his name. The Europe is a type of what kind of boat? It was designed by Alois Roulon in 1960. I'm just going to check he's French, because otherwise he's could just be someone American that I've given a weird French accent to. Does not say his name. Alois Roulon does not have a Wikipedia article, so I can't confirm. Oh, he does in French, which makes me think he's... Sure. Let's go with French. Alright, question 9. On Euro banknotes issued since 2013, in how many different scripts, so alphabets and so on, is the word euro written? On Euro banknotes issued since 2013, in how many different scripts is the word euro written? So obviously euro was written on Euro banknotes before 2013, but in a different number of scripts. Oh dear. Tired. Very tired. And finally, question 10. The Eurovision Song Contest of 1974, held in Brighton, was won by which song? The Eurovision Song Contest of 1974, held in Brighton, was won by which song? It was held in Brighton. We hadn't won it the year before, but Luxembourg had won it 2 years running and decided that they didn't want to host it the second time. So we stepped in. So there you go. That was quiz number 5. So as ever, here are the instructions. So if you would like to submit your answers, please do. If you go to www.alexquiz.fun/submit, as ever, the deadline for that is midnight tomorrow, as in the end of tomorrow. So you have just under 28 hours from the time this was streamed. Less, obviously, if you're watching this later. Yeah, pop along to there and submit your answers, and I will announce the winners at the start of the next quiz. Remember also, you can go there if you have any ideas for the theme round at the end. I will happily take them. I won't take question suggestions for obvious reasons. And you can also see past quizzes there. Last week's hasn't gone up yet, but you can see some of the previous quizzes if you want to use them for your own quizzes that you're giving over Zoom or just your family or whatever. So, oops, wrong slide. So there we go. Hope you've enjoyed this week's quiz. As I said, it's been a bit of a weird day for everyone after last night's announcement, but hopefully this was a bit of fun. If not, I'm sorry. It's the best I could do. But yeah, stay safe. Have a great rest of the day, rest of the week. And, oh yeah, my usual things that I'm supposed to say at the end of a YouTube stream. If you enjoyed this, just hit that like button at the bottom. There's also a subscribe button somewhere. I don't know. I should work out what these are. But if you click on that as well, and there's a little bell icon that will give you notifications when I set up a new stream. So it's worth clicking on that. These are so far every Monday at 5:30, but that might change depending on my time commitments and various other things. But yeah, so like, subscribe, comment, share, all of the usual things. Snapchat, TikTok. Do what you want to do. But for now, hope you've enjoyed. Stay safe, and I'll see you later.